Hello. A very good afternoon to everyone. So, happy new month to everyone. Welcome to these weekly market outlook with me. My name is Geoffrey, also known as Wall Street Puppy. So, I am that Wall Street Puppy. And I'd like to welcome you to these weekly market outlook with me as we get to start of the month of February. Let's see what has been going through in the month of Jan. Today, the second day of February 2026. So let's see what you're looking out for, what it is that we are anticipating, and yeah, how do we go about the various setups that you're looking out for within? How do you go about the various setups that you're looking out for within this week? All right. So as you can see, from the screen that I'm sharing, this is the Chase Capital blog where you can get to see all the insights that I share publicly. And this blog contains both written analysis and also audio visual. So these whereby you have both the videos and we have both the videos and the technicals are written and also now like probably just spoken analysis. So if you scroll down this blog, you will find all these analyses right here for the various pairs and the various asset classes. All these analyses will be right here. Will be right here on these will be right here on this channel here. Okay. So we have that. Then definitely we do have the blog. That not the blog, sorry, but the Discord. We do have the Discord. This is a private community on Discord. So I also get to share my insights and sentiments and analysis across these platforms for various asset classes, whether it's currencies, commodities, indices, crypto, um, yeah, whatever it is, we get to trade it right here. All right, so let me get to start off very quickly with whatever we are looking out for this week. So starting off, we do have GBP USD. So we've seen quite a lot of fundamental things happening last week. So we saw President Donald Trump naming Kevin Wash as his preferred candidate to become the next Fed chair. To become the next Fed chair, which is his name is Kevin Wash. So Kevin Walsh was a previous Fed governor back in 2000, I think 2008 to 2011. So um he was a Fed governor back then. So him coming back into the Fed probably might be of great significance because again he was able to fight quantitative easing in 2008, and remember 2008 was a very tricky year for the financial markets. So let's see, will he be able to implement some of the policies that probably Jerome Powell has been doing, or will he come with his new policies? So it's something to closely observe as traders and investors in the financial markets, and see and to see the way forward on that. All right. So definitely, it had a very huge effect on the dollar. We had very massive sell-offs on gold, silver. We also saw the crypto market pushing to the downside. So quite a lot of the stock indices, Nasdaq, US 30, of which we're going to cover in this session, right here today. All right. So starting off, we do have GBP USD. This is the pound dollar. So let me start off from the daily time frame. So on the daily, you can see this was a very key area of interest on the daily. This was a major level of supply on the daily based off this. All right, so we saw price breaking above and forming higher highs at this area. And you can see these are supply on the daily time frame. So the areas of 1.38500, that is where the supply was formed. I mean, that is where the new high was formed. The supply is at the area of about 1.37780. All right. So price formed a new all-time high. I mean, a new high. Then you had price breaking below this. You can see there's a very strong bearish engulfing candle. So what I'd expect or what I'd look out for is a potential retest of this before now. Another solid drop back to these areas of 1.35590 areas, back to this level here. All right. Because when this level was broken, it was not tested as a new demand. And now that price is broken above this, actually what you're looking at here at this area is a direct replica of what happened here. So when price broke above, formed new highs, then comes now and breaks below, what you're looking out for is the retest here. Then a continuation of the drop lower to the next demand. So it's the same thing here. A break below, a retest, then a continuation of the drop towards to the next demand area, which is now the areas of 1.35590. Now remember these on the daily time frame. If you come to the 4 hour, this is what you have. So I'll be waiting to see price rally to these areas of 1.37500 areas up here. Okay. So a push to this before now. Another strong drop to the downside, back to these areas here. Okay, back to these areas here. So our working range now becomes from this demand because now this becomes a fresh demand. Okay, this becomes a fresh demand. So from this level all the way to these areas, then back to this demand. Okay, so we'll be waiting to see price come back to the areas of 1.7500 before a potential retest. Then we see a potential push to the downside. Then you have NZD/USD here. This was actually a perfect one. Because this one, even the zone to move ratio is also a very the zone to move ratio for this one is also a very significant one. Okay, so for NZD USD, this is what you have. You can see this is on the 4 hour. Let's say you have the daily. For the daily time frame, there you have it, and you can see this has been a very key area of interest base of the daily because this has been the origin of major drops. These whole drop all the way down to this demand. Then this demand has been the origin of major rallies, both here all the way to this demand, then from here again all the way to this demand. Now that that range was filled, we had a rejection. We had a rejection candle closes inside the zone. You have a very strong bearish engulfing candle on the daily time frame, so that definitely tells us, or that shows us that we will be having a potential bearish reversal on this one. So for this one now, the immediate range you're working with is now from this demand. Okay, from this demand to this supply. So working range is from this demand all the way back to this supply and to this demand. So what I'm expecting to see is a slight retest of this before now, a push to the downside, a strong push to the downside. All right. Now, my major area of interest is the levels of 0.58500. So that is where I am. 0.58500 is the area that I'm anticipating to see price get to. That is what I'm looking out for, and that is the area that I'm anticipating to see price get to. So let's wait and see how price actually gets to react to. Let's wait and see how price actually gets to react to this. All right, for NZD/USD. And now you can see these on the daily. Probably let's see how you can get some opportunities on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, you can see already we had a push to the downside, but what I'm waiting for is that retest, a retest of supply. So we had price has reversed from supply. We have formed a lower low here. Okay. So what I'd wait for is a retest, then a strong push to the downside. And now you can hold it all the way back to these levels here because now the range becomes from this demand all the way to this supply. Then from this supply, I had a push down, a retest, then a drop all the way down to this demand. So it's a very solid swing that you have there. So let's wait and see how price actually gets to react to that. Then we have Euro USD. Mhm. We have Euro USD. So for Euro USD as well, this is what you have. You can see for Euro USD, price broke below this area here because this is a very key area of interest based off the daily, this area. Then the first thing it did, it broke above, went and formed new highs at 1.2500. Then when it came here, now it has broken below. So what I'd expect to see is a retest of this area, 1.19015, before now a potential continuation of the drop lower, all the way back to these areas of 1.17900 or even 1.18000, because now this becomes a fresh demand. Because this is the previous supply. Okay, this is a previous supply. When it was broken, it was not retested as a new demand. Price just broke and went all the way up. So for this one, I'd wait to see price retrace and come back to these levels of 1.17900, let's say 1.18000, for that range to be filled. Then from there, we can now wait and see, will price have a potential, will we have a potential bullish reversal, or will we have a potential bearish continuation? But I am looking at a strongly bullish reversal from here. So it's something to closely observe and see how price reacts to this. But first, I'd wait to see a slight retracement back to 1.19,000. Then this will be a very good area for potential sells. So this is about yeah, a solid 120 pips. Okay, so one can check out that one. So that should be a very solid 120 pips on solid 120 pips on Euro USD. All right. So we have that. Then we can have a look at USD CAD and USD CHF. USD CAD. So there is USD CAD still pushing to the upside. So for this one, now that you've broken above this key area of interest here, within this area here, so we have the breakout above. This is the high formed. So I'll be having a slight retracement. Then a continuation of the rally higher with prices coming all the way to these areas of 1.37 for 50. 1.37 for 50 for that range to be filled, because now arcing range becomes from this supply all the way down to this. Then from this level, you have a breakout above, a retest, then a continuation of the rally higher all the way to the levels of 1.37 for 50, back to these areas here. All right. So something that I'm closely observing as well on that one, that is on the USD CAD, expect a potential bullish push to the upside. So a retest of 1.36 to 100, then a continuation of the rally higher. Then for USD CHF, notice how majority of these pairs you're expecting them for price. Notice how majority of these pairs you're expecting them price to get to certain levels, and you can be able to execute. Same thing with these USD CHF. Price tap this key area of interest on the daily time frame. Then now you're seeing price push up. So I'd want to see price push up all the way back to these areas of 0.78600. Reason being, this is a very key area of demand. Okay, this is a very key area of demand, and it was broken, it was not retested. So when price comes back to this area, it's coming back to an area that is a fresh supply. All right, so I'm going to see price come fill this range back to this. Then from here, we can now probably anticipate a potential push to the downside. But first, I want to see a bullish push back to 0.78590, or let's say 600 areas. All right, so because now when price broke this, we saw this drop all the way down. And now for that range to be filled, you will be expecting to see price for that range to be filled. You will be expecting to see price come to the levels of 0.78, 0.78590 areas. All right, so let's wait and see how price reacts to that. Then we can have a look at US oil. Let's see what you have on oil. So there is US oil. So on US oil, we saw price eventually breaking above this. So let me get to zoom out so that you're able to see this. So this was the major range. This was the major range. The major range was from this supply here. You can see this supply, and this on the 4-hour time frame. Okay. I know we had the range from this level, this supply all the way down to this demand. Then from this demand all the way back to this supply, that range was filled. Then again, we have from this demand all the way to this supply. But the major range is now from this supply up here. The major range is from the supply above all the way down to this demand. So we had the breakout, you had a retest, then price keeps pushing lower. So same thing with this. We had price retest from here, then a very bullish push, a retest, then price rallies all the way to this range. Now that this range was filled, because now this was the origin of the previous drop, we saw price dropping all the way back to this demand. Now here we have not seen this demand holding. Okay, it's just within this area. But however, if price breaks below this and we see price forming a lower low, anticipate a potential retest before now a continuation of the drop lower. That is if price breaks below. But if price doesn't break below and it holds at this demand, then we'll probably anticipate a potential bullish reversal. But for now, we can only just observe and see. But the moment you see price break below this, then expect that. The moment you see price break below this, then expect that we're going to see a potential continuation of the drop. You're going to see a potential continuation of the drop lower, right? That is on US oil. Let's see what you have on UK oil as well. Crude, then you have UK oil. Mm, there is UK oil as well. You can see the similarities in terms of structure. For this one, let me go to the daily. You can see from the daily time frame, we had price rallying all the way from this demand all the way to this supply, and now price breaking supply, looking for premium, which is at this area of 70. So price was looking for premium at the area of 70. Then now we see, a push to the downside, a very strong bearish engulfing candle. So what I'd wait to see is price forming a lower low below this supply. So something like that. Then a retest of this before a potential continuation of the drop lower. All right. So for this one, let's just wait and see how price reacts to this. But the moment you have a candle close below this, if you have a candle close below this supply, then definitely expect a potential. If you have a candle close below supply, then definitely expect a potential push to the upside. I mean, a potential retest of this, then a push to the downside. Sorry, right? So we have that. Then let's have a look at the indices. We have Nasdaq and US 30. Then I'll also cover gold and silver. So on Nasdaq, you can see we have a very strong drop from when price tapped these, because this supply was the all-time high supply here. Okay, so when price tapped these, we've seen a very strong drop all the way to these lows of 25,100, these areas here, missing out on these lows here and these ones here. Okay, 24,800 around that area. So we missed out on these ones. Okay, and we are now seeing price drop all the way down to these next. I'm expecting these low or these next low down here. This is the areas of 24,700 areas around that level. All right. So then from here now we can be able to determine where do we expect prices to go to. From here we can be able to determine where do you expect prices to go to next. Okay, so we have that. Let's wait and see how price actually gets to react to this. Then we have US 30. On US 30. Mhm. There is US 30. So for US 30, you can see we've been holding around this daily demand area here. You can see price already pushing to the upside. So we've been really holding around this daily demand area. Now that price broke above, we formed the new all-time highs at about 49,600, which was this area. Price comes back to demand. A push to the upside again, price comes back to demand. So this demand are still held, especially on the daily. So what I'm looking out for is a potential push to the upside. Okay. However, if that only happens if this demand holds. All right, a potential push to the upside back to these all-time highs of 49,600. However, if this demand breaks below, then definitely expect to see a push to the downside, a retest of this, then prices coming back to these areas of 48,000 areas down here. Okay, it's a very it's a very huge possibility, right? It's a very huge possibility. So let's wait and see how price reacts to this. On US 30. Then lastly, let me get to cover gold and silver. So this is gold. Mhm. This is gold, and let me put silver just next to it as well. There is silver right there. Can see very massive drops on both of them. Now, let's start with gold. These on the 4-hour time frame. So gold dropped all the way. Gold dropped all the way down. From Gold dropped all the way down from the all-time highs of 5,600, which is basically at this area, and dropped all the way down to these areas of 4,500, back to this. And you can see the major range when price broke this area of 4,500. When price broke this area of 4,500, then we had the breakout, then the retest, right? Then the retest again. Price gets here. We had a very strong push to the upside all the way to the all-time highs of 5,600. So that tells you that the major range started from this area here. all the way to all-time highs and prices back to this. So for this one, I'd wait to see a retest of 4600. So I'd wait to see a retest of 4600 here or 4577 before for now another bullish push back to 5000 areas up here. All right. So for probably anyone who's looking for potential opportunities on gold, that is how to approach it. I'd wait for that retest of 4600 or 4577, then take some potential buys at least all the way to your near-term or short-term target will be 5005. All right. And this on the 4-hour time frame. So my short-term target may not be a short-term target, but I'm saying my short-term target based off the type of trader I am, which is a swing trader. So I'm looking at prices coming back to the areas of 5000 areas. All right, so let's wait for that retest. A retest of that area will give us a more high quality setup as compared to probably just trying to take trades in the middle of the trend. All right, so we have that on goal. Let's wait for that retest of this area, then a potential push to the upside. Then lastly, we do have silver. So this is silver, and I was just talking about it right now. And you can see this on the daily time frame for silver. Price formed new all-time highs at about like 120. Then price dropped all the way and tapped into 72 areas here. All right. And now these are rejection. Let's see what you have on the 4-hour. Okay, let's see what you have on the 4-hour time frame. You can see on the 4-hour, this is what you have here. So price tapped this area. We had this demand area here. Okay, we had this demand area here. So for this one, I really just wait to see price push to, if you see a break above this, I don't want to see a retest of 82 then. A nice push back to these areas of a nice push back to these areas of 103. So let's wait and see how price actually gets to react to this. I don't want to see probably just a slight I don't want to see just a slight break above this, then a retest, then we see price pushing all the way to the levels of 103. All right, so let's get to wait and see how price reacts to this. However, if price doesn't break above this yet and probably retraces a bit, that is also a possibility. It can actually get to retrace a bit before now, eventually breaking above. But I'm looking at once it actually gets to break above, I'd want the retest of these areas of 82 before now a potential continuation. That is a bullish push all the way to the areas of 103. Right, or probably the midterm targets will be these areas, these highs of at about 95. All right, these areas are about like 95 areas, so somewhere within these areas here. But generally, that is how I am. I will approach. That is how I will approach this kind of scenario. All right. So let's see. Let's wait and see how price actually gets to react to this. Remember, today is on Monday, so there's not really much going on. But this is a very fundamental week. We have quite a number of central banks releases this week, and we also have the most anticipated NFP, non-farm payrolls, coming out on Friday. So we have that. Let's just wait and get to see how the markets get to react to this. All right. So with that, guys, I'd like to wish you all a very great and amazing day ahead. Don't forget to hit the like, follow, share, and subscribe button on YouTube. And definitely we'll be getting more of these updates very soon as we get to share more and more of these insights, analyses, and updates for everyone. So thank you guys for joining in. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. So definitely I will do a midweek market review. So these just like my sentiments for the start of the week. Definitely on Wednesday, I'll probably share some midweek market reviews, and then you're gonna get progressing on like that. So, cheers, everyone. Stay blessed and stay financially literate. Let's catch up on the next one. So, cheers, guys.